Walking in alignment isn't about arrogance, it's about authenticity. And I want you to remember you can be humble and still be powerful. You can be soft and still be firm. You can be loving and you can still say no. Sometimes no is loving, it is required sometimes. This is the restorative space where body, mind, and spirit meet in truth. From tension to tenderness, we explore how to heal, feel, and return home to ourselves. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am very happy to be with you again, to be sharing with you again as we continue to walk this journey. If you remember, last time we were together, we talked about becoming, learning to exist in your peace instead of your pain. This time, we're going to talk about something that every healed person eventually faces, and that is how to walk in alignment and not approval. All right, before we begin, just a few things that I like to mention. Please remember that you can always find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and other platforms. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share so that we can bring more along with us on this journey. Thank you so much in advance for doing all of that for us. Let's go ahead and start like we usually do, which is taking a couple of breaths, doing some breath work, getting quiet, settling in. For those of you that are just joining us, that looks a little something like this. We are going to inhale for 3 seconds, hold for 3 seconds, and then exhale for 3 seconds. Please keep in mind when you inhale, you are inhaling peace. During the hold, you are holding space for yourself. On the exhale, you are exhaling any worry, doubt, or anything else that may be holding you back. Let's begin. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Wonderful. So I'd like to tell you, give yourself a hand clap because you have been here on this journey for a while now. You've given yourself permission. You've been walking in that permission, and you've been bold and you've been beautiful. And now you are learning how to become who you are, who you were always meant to be. I know that peace requires courage. It requires the courage to choose yourself, even when it costs you someone else's comfort. And I know that we don't like to make other people uncomfortable. But we have to keep in mind that sometimes when you are helping others remain comfortable, you are causing yourself discomfort. And we are learning how to walk in alignment with ourselves and what that means for us. So find your space, maybe light a candle, stretch, and just arrive here because you're exactly where you need to be. All right, let's start with a truth that can sting just a little, okay? Not everyone will clap for your healing. We know that we've experienced it already. And yes, it makes us sad, it makes us upset. But we have to sit in that not everyone will clap for your healing. Some people were only comfortable with the version of you that needed them, that stayed small, and that didn't say no. But alignment, real, grounded, spiritual alignment will always call you to be honest about who you are and what you need. Approval is external, it's loud, it feeds ego. But alignment is internal, it's quiet, it feeds peace. When you live for approval, you live on a roller coaster of validation, up when you're praised and down when you're not. But when you live in alignment, you live in flow. Your yes means yes, your no means no, and your peace is no longer negotiable. Alignment is when your words, your actions, and your energy finally agree. You're not saying yes to something that you really don't want to say yes to, and then you're feeling bad about it later. It's when your spirit stops begging your mouth to tell the truth. It's when you realize that fitting in is not the same as belonging. And just remember, you didn't heal to go back to pretending. We're not going to do that to ourselves. And let's be real, approval seeking is a habit that many of us learned in childhood. We were taught that being good meant being agreeable, quiet, or self sacrificing, that love had to be earned, not simply received. How many of you know how to receive love? I know you know how to give it, but do you know how to receive it? And so, even as adults, we carry that same conditioning. And so I want to help you out with understanding exactly what I mean. Um, Here are some signs you might still be seeking approval instead of walking alignment. Okay. You second guess your boundaries because you don't want to seem mean. How many of us do that? You say yes, and then you feel resentment later. And I know I've said that a few times. That's because that one comes up often. You edit your personality to make others comfortable. You do the dance, you dance along and you sing along with whatever you think that next person needs. Or you feel guilty for resting or saying no. And I know something that I used to do and sometimes I still struggle with. I avoid conflict, even when silence hurts more. Do any of these sound familiar to you? That's really not who you are, is it? That's who you've learned to be to stay safe. But here's the beautiful part. Awareness is the first step towards alignment. When you start noticing the patterns that you've been conditioned to have, you're already breaking it. Healing gives you the power to choose peace over people pleasing. You're not rejecting love and you're not rejecting them. You're just redefining who you are and you're showing others who you really are. And again, that is you becoming who you were always meant to be and who you are. Now, just like we did last time, I'd like to invite you into a moment of reflection. If you're journaling, write these down. If not, just hold them in your heart. Put them in your phone somewhere in case you want to start journaling later. And we'll do this often together. So here's a few reflection questions that I want you to write down or hold space for. Question 1, where in my life am I still performing for approval. Number 2, who am I afraid will stop loving me if I start telling the truth? And number 3, what does alignment actually look like for me? Emotionally, spiritually, relationally, in my relationships. Maybe alignment means being honest about your needs. Maybe it means walking away from relationships built on guilt. Maybe it's trusting your intuition instead of asking for permission. We've learned about that. Whatever it looks like for you is valid. And I want you to know this: alignment will sometimes be lonely at first. But just remember that that loneliness is not emptiness. It's space for peace and it's space for growth. It's space for you. Moving on to what alignment may mean daily. Living in alignment daily isn't a one time decision, it is a devotion. It's choosing truth over comfort again and again, day by day. It's practicing integrity with your own soul. And what that may look like, just in case you're not sure what daily alignment is, here are some practical ways to stay aligned as you become the healed version of yourself. Start with your morning energy as soon as you wake up. Before you check your phone, ask yourself, what energy do I want to embody today? I want you to set that tone before the world tells you who to be. Before we get out there and we start driving and somebody cuts you off. Before you get to work and there's extra things piled up on your desk for extra assignments that you didn't sign up for. I want you to be in control of what your energy will be for today. Then I want you to practice emotional honesty. If something doesn't feel right, pause and acknowledge it. Remember how we used to pretend and how exhausting it was? We're not going to pretend anymore. When you're living in your authentic self, you are being restored. Release the need to be understood. Your peace doesn't need a publicist because the people meant for you, they'll feel you. They'll understand that you're changing for the better and they'll enjoy the new you, the healed you. Create sacred routines, maybe take a morning walk, stretch, affirmations, all three. Just do something that grounds you in yourself every day. And then as you go throughout the day and you must speak the truth, speak it with softness. Alignment doesn't require aggression. It just requires clarity. It requires for you to just stand up for you. And when you live like this, people may fall away, the ones that were supposed to, okay? But peace will stay. And your peace, my love, is worth it. It definitely is. Now let's pause just a little bit and we're going to practice something. We're going to practice affirmations. We're going to seal this truth in your spirit. So wherever you are, as long as you're sitting still, standing still, just being still. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and repeat after me, gently but with conviction. For you, I walk in alignment, not in approval. I am no longer shrinking to make others comfortable. My truth is my peace. I release the need to be understood. I honor my boundaries with love and strength. I'll just stay there and take in a deep breath and inhale all of that confidence and exhale the fear. Walking in alignment isn't about arrogance, it's about authenticity. And I, and I want you to remember, you can be humble and still be powerful. You can be soft and still be firm. You can be loving and you can still say no. Sometimes no is loving. It is required sometimes. And as we're walking, I would like to share something with you from my own personal journey. There was a time when I would silence myself just to keep the peace. I'd say it's okay when it wasn't. I'd overextend myself because I didn't want to be seen as selfish or again be seen as mean. That used to be a big one for me. But what I learned and what I continue to learn is that my alignment requires honesty. And I do know that sometimes my honesty may change the room that I'm in and may change the relationship. I remember that the first few times I said no, it felt heavy. And I would just think about it all day and question myself if I made the right decision. But then my peace, the peace that came over me told me that it was the right thing to do. And I'm telling you that story because if you're in the stage where you're saying no more often and you're losing people who don't align with your healing, please hear me. You're not losing anything that was meant to stay. Things that are meant to stay, people that are meant to stay will be there with you, for you. They'll even be clapping. And the good thing is, peace will always bring new connections that match your growth. We attract what we are and who we are. And alignment, it always attracts authenticity. It really does. And as you're going through this, I want you to remember that you're not being difficult. You're being real and true to yourself. And that's the most restorative thing that you can ever, ever be, is true to yourself. I hope this feels good to you. I hope that you are getting more and more comfortable with becoming who you are. Now, here's your challenge for the week. Every morning, ask yourself, what does alignment look like for me today? Then throughout the day, notice when you start slipping into people pleasing or your old patterns. And instead of judging yourself, instead of feeling bad about it, just gently realign. If you catch yourself saying yes when you mean no, pause and regroup. If you feel drained after a conversation, notice it so that you don't repeat it. And if your spirit whispers, this isn't for us, I want you to listen to it. You're not trying to be perfect. Alignment isn't perfect. It takes practice. Each and every day, choose your truth a little more, because each time you do, you feel your power return. And if it's the first time you're feeling powerful for yourself, congratulations, you've arrived. I am truly enjoying the Becoming series, because as you are walking in this journey, in your personal journey, I'm also walking in my personal journey. And then there's the part of the journey that we take each other's hand and we walk together. You're never alone. I'm never alone. We have each other. And so for that, I say thank you. I say thank you for spending time with me this time and every other time. And if this episode spoke to your spirit, share it with someone who's learning to walk in their truth too. Don't forget, please be sure to subscribe and leave a comment. It helps this healing space reach more hearts. And that's all that I'm trying to do, is reach as many hearts as possible. Next time, we'll continue the Becoming series with a powerful episode called The Art of Letting Go Gracefully. Because honestly, sometimes peace requires release, whatever that release looks like and means for you. So as usual, you can always find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Just look for the Restorative Space and we'll be right there. I am so excited that you are becoming who you've always wanted to be. And again, I am so excited and very thankful to be sharing this with you. Until next time, I wish you peace.
Thank you for joining the Restorative Space with your host, Sandy Rose. If today's time together offered clarity or calm, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so more people can discover this space. Until next time, stay grounded and stay well.